Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Hudson. It's wonderful to be back on this committee, and Ranking Member Matsui as well for allowing me to wave one to this critically important hearing today. Critically important because, as the chairman said, I'm from Iowa, and I also happen to be a military veteran, so both from the national security and the connectivity viewpoint, this is an important hearing today. And I also want to thank our witnesses for testifying before the subcommittee. You've been here a long time, so I'll try to be brief. I'm just going to make a mention of something Mr. Gillum just said. We don't want you to work around the government. That has a different context when we say that. We want you to work with the government because we know that the DoD needs access to this spectrum and they may need to preempt other uses. In Iowa, our farmers depend on the latest technology to make their operations more efficient. Think precision ag, and I think you mentioned that, Mr. Powell. Our schools, our healthcare facilities rely on strong connectivity for educational tools and telemedicine, and businesses across the state need access to cutting-edge communication system to remain competitive in the global market. When, as a state senator in Iowa, I passed broadband bills, I said, I lovingly named these, please get Dr. Miller-Meeks better internet connection so her children will come home for more than a day. That's how bad it was. And I cannot tell you how many Wi-Fi providers I switched, or satellite providers. Spectrum, which makes all of this possible, is a finite resource that must be responsibly managed. Mr. Powell, in your testimony, you point out that the U.S. could potentially fall behind in 5G and 6G deployment, and when I've traveled overseas, I would echo that sentiment. Without embracing shared spectrum policies, what safeguards do you propose to ensure that critical national security infrastructure and government operations are not jeopardized in the process?
Yeah, I think the whole predicate why we're champions of this spectrum policy approach is that it fundamentally presumes that we'll work together and share with those systems as opposed to displace them or minimize them. That doesn't mean that's always possible, but we think that's the going and effective approach when we know both have equally compelling uses. You should try to figure out if there's a way for them to coexist first.
Mr. Gillum, you noted that 5G is helping to create high-paying jobs and economic opportunities in manufacturing and agriculture. And as an advocate for U.S. industry, as we both are, can you explain how 5G is specifically contributing to the growth of these sectors you might have in your posters, particularly in the context of rural economies like Iowa's, and what additional spectrum could do to accelerate these benefits?
Absolutely. On the first piece, I think manufacturing is one of the places that we really feel opportunity. How do you bring manufacturing back? And you look at Ericsson has a plant in Texas that's 120% employee productivity improvement. So it's one of those opportunities that it's a roadmap for how we can do this. In terms of in rural, it really is a matter of the 5G home product is beginning to make a dent to the challenges that you face to the state legislature, and that the more spectrum gives us the ability. It's a capacity-starved service, and so you need to have more capacity, lets us do it more people. So one provider has 1 million people on a waiting list right now. We can make those subscribers with more spectrum.
Ms. Rinaldo, in your testimony, you mentioned the PRC's aggressive efforts to dominate wireless technologies and markets through state-sponsored corporate theft and market manipulation. How do you propose the U.S. respond to these efforts, and what role can American companies and policymakers play in countering this state-driven competition?
Help support vendor diversity and work with our partners around the world to do the same.
And given the ongoing cybersecurity threats from adversaries such as the PRC, what specific policies or investments would you recommend to enhance the security and resilience of U.S. wireless networks, particularly in protecting our vital communications infrastructure?
So Congress needs to reauthorize the Cybersecurity Act of 2015, which allows information sharing. It needs teeth.
I was plugging that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I yield back.